Question: which game means more?
You are Locked On Trojans, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Fight on, everyone. I'm your host, Mark Holkin, and thank you for making Locked On USC part of the Locked On Network, your first listen every day. Whether you're watching the show on YouTube or wherever you want to download your podcast, this show is always free, and never forget how much I appreciate your support. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. New customers join today, and you're going to get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins. Visit FanDuel.com/locked-on to get started. USC opens their 2024 campaign against LSU in Las Vegas. Looking forward to that game. That's the Big Ten Conference versus the SEC. The SEC in the past usually comes out on top when these two conferences get together. Not always, but it happens frequently. USC versus LSU is going to be huge. It's in Las Vegas. It's the first game of the year. But right now, USC isn't even, well, in the way too early preseason top 25 polls that have been released, USC wasn't ranked. LSU is. Now, unless something funky happens, I do anticipate both programs being ranked when this game is played. A ranked USC win over LSU, USC won't get a huge bump if they beat Utah State the next week. They play Utah State week 2 at the Coliseum. Then they get a bye week. And then USC will make its second trip ever in their history to Ann Arbor, Michigan. Second time. Way back in 1958, USC checked out the Big House. The Trojans lost that game 20-19. The year before, 57, Michigan came out to LA and they beat USC 16-6. The first matchup between these two blue blood programs, 1948, the Rose Bowl. And SC got their ass handed to them, 49-0. The 50s, that back then, that wasn't a good time for USC football. They weren't very good. Michigan, they were really good. That was kind of like their halcyon time, their halcyon years. Michigan in the 30s and 40s and 50s, they were the it program. Now, USC and Michigan, they've met 10 times in their history. USC leads the series 6-4, and they've won the last 3. 2007, though, was the last time these two teams played each other in the Rose Bowl. So this is one of those no-duh reminder alerts. This is a conference game when USC and Michigan play this time, and they're going up against the reigning national champs. Another no-duh reminder, Michigan, so far since they hoisted the trophy, they've lost Jim Harbaugh, their head coach, and much of that coaching staff. They've also lost most of the team that led them to that trophy. So here's the question. Is a win over Michigan in the conference opener, is that a bigger game than a win over LSU, first game of the season? And, I'm going to preface it by saying LSU might not be that good in 2024. And by that good, I'm thinking similar to what they accomplished in 2023, a 9-win team, 10 wins in the bowl game. Again, LSU is going into the season with a quarterback that started their bowl game, because he was stepping in for their Heisman winner who decided not to play in their bowl game. Sound familiar? And this LSU team, like Michigan, is also replacing almost all of its offense, and they are also completely revamping its defensive coaching staff. Tell me again, why is LSU ranked and USC isn't? Because I think I just described USC, right? What's the difference here? Look, of course, we want USC to be undefeated when they visit Michigan. The Wolverines, here's the thing though, the Wolverines are going to host Fresno State on August 31st. That's a Saturday. USC plays on Sunday, September 1st. That's Labor Day weekend. However, before USC gets to Michigan, the Wolverines are going to host Fresno State, Texas, and then Arkansas State. So I have a really good feeling that we're going to know how good Michigan is well before USC gets there. So I'm torn on this one. With, the 12-team playoff system, I'm thinking, USC can lose their opener, and then, they can run the course in the conference, and then those, they can still find themselves in the playoffs. Now, I don't need a Alabama type of wake-up call in a neutral site game before USC ends up playing on New Year's Day. If you remember 2016, yeah. Alabama said, wake up. And then, USC made a couple of adjustments. And if you remember, they ended up in the Rose Bowl, and they beat Penn State. So, again, these are both early season games, obviously. So let's say USC wins in Vegas, but they lose to a 2-1 Michigan team. Is USC going to get the benefit of the doubt for beating the SEC? Or does this really depend on Michigan's record at the time? Will Michigan be 3-0? Will they be 2-1? Or who do they lose to at home if they lost? Fresno State out of the gate? Did they lose to Texas? Both of these are huge games. Let's not mince words here. Let's not quibble about this. However, I think I'm going to go LSU as the bigger game. I understand Michigan is the reigning national champs. But this is that game in Las Vegas. That's going to set the tone for the season. A win over LSU and the SEC. Look, that's a confidence builder. And we're talking about a USC team that, look, I'm not sure how confident they were going into their bowl game against Louisville. By the end of the game, they looked pretty confident. But that's what this team is going to need. They're going to be young. There's a lot of turnover that's taken place during the offseason. We're talking about the defensive coaching staff. We know what's going on the offensive side of the ball, replacing Caleb Williams. That's why this game is bigger. Again, I made the case. You can lose to Michigan and still run the rest of the games and be in a really good spot. I don't know if you're Lincoln Riley, if you want to start 2024 0-1. This game's huge. Now, since I've said this game is huge, you let me know in the comment section, which game is more important? Which game is bigger? And is USC playing for USC, or are they playing for conference pride? Remember, they are a member of the big conference now. And I've always been I'm not a conference person, and I'm not sure where I stand on this right now, but it's always USC versus the rest of the world as far as I'm concerned. So I think, I don't know. I'll see where I stand on the whole conference pride thing, big conference, clap, 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 like the SEC does. Everybody rides each other's coattails. I'm not into that. It's not what I'm about. So is 23-0 possible, though? Tell you what, raise your hand if you thought it was possible when USC went to Auburn. If you just raise your hand, you're a liar. Nobody thought that was possible. I don't think USC is going to shut out LSU or go into Ann Arbor and shut out Michigan. But I wanted to put that out there. I just remember, USC, they went into Jordan-Hare Stadium, and there was a lot of turnover from that 2022 team. Granted, that 2022 team had a little bit going for it. So, again, I'm looking forward to that game against LSU. I'm looking forward to the game against Michigan, but I think this game is bigger. And for the reasons I explained. If you disagree, let me know. Hit me up in the comment section. Get buckets with your first bet on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now, new customers, you're going to get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 if your bet wins. You can bet on all your favorite NBA players and teams with quick bets. They've got live same-game parlays you can jump on. They've got exclusive prop bets and a whole lot more than that. So just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and shoot your shot. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Go to Locked On Sports Today on YouTube and subscribe to the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel. All right, you're checking down the rundown right now. I'm going to talk about some recruiting visits. There's not a lot going on right now with recruiting. However, the recruits are starting to set up some of their visits. So I thought, hey, let's update my everydayers as well as my newbies. Kind of give you an update. What's going on? What recruits are setting up some visits to come check out USC. By the way, I'm going to use this minute to self-promote. Don't forget, when I'm not here on Locked On USC every day, your first listen, you're heading on over to wearesc.com. And you want to head on over there right now because we are still running our $1 subscription special. Become a VIP subscriber. You'll like it. Trust me. All right, let's get into it. The recruiting visits that are getting set up. How about 4-star Mississippi offensive tackle Mario Nash? He said he's planning a spring visit to USC. This young man has got over 20 offers. Yeah. He's trimmed that list down to 10. And here's his final 10 list. You've got Auburn, Florida State, Georgia Tech, LSU, Miami, Mississippi State, Missouri, Ole Miss, Penn State, and USC. This is what he said. My next step is to take some unofficial visits this spring, narrow my list down even more, then commit before my senior season. I want to work hard at upcoming camps, take the visits, and then be able to focus on my team next season as a commitment. Nash also told WeAreSC, said this past Saturday, pardon me, that he's planning to come out to USC during the spring, and that he also plans on coming out for the June camp. That's an invite camp. Now, on the other side of the ball, we're going to stay in the trenches. Manchester, Georgia. He's a 5-star defensive lineman. His name is Justice Terry. He's been committed to Georgia since January of 2023. The Bulldogs are still at the top of his list. Don't get confused here. And he's already said he's going to Athens during the spring, and he'll be there multiple times. However, he is keeping his options open. And he's already set visits to Florida State and USC, March 9th and 23rd, respectively. And he said he also wants to go check out Alabama and Florida. So, quote, I'm strong with Georgia, but I will take my visits. Georgia tells me to go out, explore other options, and then come back to Athens anytime I want because they will always be there. Now, that's how Pete Carroll used to recruit at USC. He said, go ahead. Go see what's out there. Because Pete Carroll knew there is nothing better. Now, when you're winning, it's easy to have that upper hand. And that's what Pete Carroll was using. That's what Kirby Smart is using. Let me give you a couple more things here from Justice Terry. Georgia is the school I'm committed to, and nothing has changed with that. I will take some official visits in the summer. I'm still working on dates, but I think schools like Alabama and Georgia will get one for sure, as well as maybe Florida State, USC, and some others. It will be my first time there in March. They offered me early, but have come back on me since. Co-defensive coordinator, defensive line coach Eric Henderson got hired. I underlined this. USC was one of my first offers, so I want to get out there and check them out. Underlined again. They are coming hard. They were out there to see me in January, this last month, and now I want to get out there and see the atmosphere, end quote. The more he communicates with Eric Henderson, the better. That's all I'm going to say there. Justice Terry and USC are on the same page. That's all you need to know. He's coming out to visit USC. The more often he comes out here, the better the chances are. Right now, he is a Georgia Bulldog. There is another elite defensive lineman in the class of 2025, and he's got USC in his top group. His name is Christian Garrett. Prince Avenue Christian School, again, Bogart, Georgia. I'm not sure exactly where Bogart is. I did have a dog named Bogart growing up. I'm going to throw that out there. 6'3", 275-pound defensive lineman. Quote, my plan is to take 5 official visits in the summer, look everything over with my family and coaches, then commit in the summer. It will come down to relationships and who can develop me. It is about the fit for me and my family. Yeah, listen to those words, you're thinking, all right, well, Eric Henderson, USC, they're all about, building relationships. And I can't think of a better defensive line coach right now that I would want to be developed by. Just throwing it out there. Young Mr. Garrett also spoke with On3's Hayes Fawcett about his top list. Quote, USC is definitely somewhere I didn't see myself ending up. But recently, after I got to know Coach Nua and Coach Riley, I feel like they're building something special and that they're on the come up. So I want to figure out more about them, end quote. Yeah, well, there's USC's coming. I didn't bring this up, but last week, one of the top linebacker prospects in the country, he put USC in his top 6 list. Maybe you heard of him. He's out of McKinney, Texas. His name is Riley Pettyjohn. 6'2", 215 pounds. And his final 6, USC, Georgia, Ohio State, Florida State, Texas, and Texas A&M. The Dallas-Fort Worth area star. He's been to USC twice already. Once last spring and again in the fall. That was his most recent time out there. And he also said he anticipates visiting again this upcoming spring with a possible official visit down the line. He said USC is up there because I like what they are building right now. And Coach Entz and Coach Lynn have great coaching backgrounds. But I know everyone wants to see guys committing and generating enthusiasm for the 2025 class. Currently, right now, USC's got Julian Juju Lewis. That's it. Just let me remind everybody, things will start heating up when we get to spring camp. And then the recruits are going to start their visits. Unofficial. Maybe official. Most likely unofficial visits. And then the invites are going to continue to go out for those USC June elite camps that they hold. Remember those last summer? That's when all of a sudden the floodgates opened up. USC was getting commitments hand over fist. Okay. Right now, we are literally in the lull before the storm. Spring camp is going to open. I believe the first date is March 19th. I told you the spring game is 4/20, April 20th. Now, so while we're going through a lull right now, I will keep you updated. That's why you keep coming back and watching Locked on USC every day, so I can keep you in the loop. And by the way, you like what you're hearing? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and notify on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, all 3 of those things help. And that's why this channel is growing so fast. So keep it up. If you haven't subscribed yet, get her done. Smash that thumbs up. And because I don't want you to miss an episode, hit that bell notification button. When you're hiring for your small business, you want to have as many top-tier candidates as possible. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help you find the right professionals for your team faster, and they're going to do it for free. LinkedIn isn't just another job board. LinkedIn has a vast network of more than a billion, that's with a B, professionals, which make it the best place to hire. And hiring is easy when you have that many quality candidates. So easy, in fact, that 86% of small businesses, they get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Thankfully, with LinkedIn, the process is intuitive, quick, and easy. They even launched a feature that helps you write your job descriptions, and that makes the process even easier and quicker. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnCollege. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnCollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. All right. This week's favorite recruit of the week. He's 6'7". He's 245 pounds, and he plays tight end. His name is Walter Matthews, and he's from Hiram, Georgia. He had an official offer from everyone. I mean, his offer sheet is like the platinum list. USC, Ohio State, Michigan, Florida, Notre Dame, Florida State, Texas, LSU, Bama, Georgia, literally everyone that matters. He picked USC back in June 2023. He then took his official visit to USC in November. He signed his letter of intent in December. I love the guy. What's not to like about 6'7", 245 pounds? He and Joey Olson, the two tight ends in this class, they're going to be a load for the big conference. They're going to be a load for everybody that USC plays. USC is the only school in the country that signed two top 200 players, two top 200 tight ends, I should say, in the class of 2024. That's impressive. This is what he told WeAreSC.com last November. I've been solid since the summer. Coach Lincoln Riley, he texted me a lot. It was really solid. We talked many times on the phone. So it's because of how close I am with Coach Riley. I mean, it's just so much different compared to all the other head coaches. This is what one college football scout said about Walter Matthews. He's a unicorn. There aren't a whole lot of 6'7", 250-pound guys in high school that can take a screen pass to the house and then attach himself to the line of scrimmage, put his hand in the dirt, and block. He's the complete package. You know me. I like to find those feel-good stories so I can kind of peel back the layers. Find out who is this young man? Well, I couldn't find any. However, his highlight video, off the charts. Good stuff. Go check out the interwebs. I gave you a size. He's a beast. 6'7", 245, 250 pounds. He is going to be a mismatch against 99% of any linebacker or safety that tries to defend him. He is powerful. I saw him pancake a guy trying to press cover him at the line of scrimmage. That's funny. He put two hands in the dude's chest and the dude fell on his ass. Walter is not a burner by any stretch of the imagination. But again, when you're 6'7", 245, 250 pounds, you don't have to be a fast deer running guy. He's got strong hands. He is going to get the ball at that catch point. He also plays basketball, so we know he's an athlete. And here's what's really cool. As his body continues to mature naturally, he's going to put on more weight and get bigger. I'm making this prediction. By the time fall camp arrives, he'll be pushing 260 pounds. It's a big dude. I'm looking forward to a massive tight end who can block and catch. It's been a while. And I love that Matthews is one of the guys who is highly rated, but he doesn't get talked about a lot. He's one of those guys who kind of just flies under the radar. But again, USC went into Georgia's backyard and said, that's mine. I don't care, how interested Georgia was. He went into SEC country and USC said, that's mine. We're taking him. And they did. I have a feeling that Walter is going to explode on the scene this year. And I'm saying that because, one, his size, his intangibles, but I don't know how healthy Lake McCree will be at the start of the season. And again, with the way USC's offense, I think, is going to be set up in this coming season, because you're not going to have that dynamic Caleb Williams taking snaps from center. I think you're going to see a lot more play action with Miller Moss, more running game. And with that play action, I think you're going to see more tight end utilization this year. That's me knocking on wood, hoping that it happens. Because I think USC's got the talent. They're young. You got Walter Matthews. You got Joey Olson. You got Lake McCree. You got Cade Eldridge, Carson Tabarachi. Got a good group of tight ends, H-backs. Now it's up to Lincoln Riley to use them. So, Walter Matthews is this week's favorite recruit of the week. We do this twice a week, so I'll have another one for you on tomorrow's episode of Locked on USC. And I'll have some more team news as well. Something always comes up. And that's why you're making Locked on USC your first listen every day. No one else is out there doing this for you. So with that, thank you. You're doing it during the hardest part of the season, and I appreciate it. So keep coming back, and I'll keep bringing you the info. So until then, everyone, you know what to do.